Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Barack Obama is back on the campaign trail and he's making the case against Donald Trump. But before his guest feature in Pennsylvania, Obama made a surprise visit to Kamala Harris's campaign headquarters in Pittsburgh. It was there that he got candid, maybe a little too candid if you are in the vice president's inner circle tonight. He warned that Harris is underperforming him with black voters, and he had a message specifically for black men.
Part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. So now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is, putting women down.
Here we go.
Hey, what's going on, family? This is Tyler from No Picks Podcast.
What's up, family? Joe, No Picks Podcast.
Hey, this is your man Gio, aka Gio Dixon Speaks.
Welcome back, brother.
again.
Welcome back, man. Good to have you again.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be back, guys. Thank you.
All right, y'all. So check this out. I wanted to pull up this. I wanted to address this recent controversy from former President Barack Obama, kind of chastising black men into supporting Kamala Harris. All right. So I don't really care about their commentary in particular. I wanted to go over the actual meat and potatoes of the comments that, you know, former President Barack Obama made, and we address it. All right. So, G, my question to you is, do you think this strategy from former President Barack Obama is going to work with the polls say about 20 to 25% of black men peeling off from the Democratic Party and going to vote for Trump? Do you think this is a strategy that's going to work?
So, will it work is yet to be seen, right? Understanding it though, right? Because we in the 21st century, right? We live in a time where we talk about people voting for Trump because of racist reasons, right? And so being able to call those people out and say, hey, you only voting for Trump because he's not black or whatever, because he doesn't represent the other side. I think what Obama is essentially doing is calling out the voters who we know are not going to vote for Kamala strictly because she's a woman. So I think him calling those people out, I think there are some men who will get into the booth and possibly, like, you know what, they talking a lot of rhetoric with that Trump stuff, but there's their mother's voice and maybe even Obama, because for a lot of those same men who are on the fence, Obama is still a revered figure to those same people. They may not agree with the Democratic Party, but Barack Obama will be a, black legend for forever. So for some of those men, he just may be able to convince them, like, hey, come back over. They can be like, you know what, Obama, right, man, I can't do it. So we'll see.
All right. So what do you think, Joe?
I think this is some BS. I think this is some. I already had my issues with Obama. I agree that he's been cemented. His legacy has been cemented. He's an icon. He has this like black legacy. Listen, all that Joe said about him, right? He has that status, right? I personally feel like I was disappointed after his presidency and what he did. And I already was on the fence about Obama. And then, he came out doing this for Kamala, and I was just upset. I'm like, why are you scolding us like you're our dad or our grandfather or something like that? Like, why are you speaking to black men like this? And it frustrates me because we've been saying this for months. And in fact, I got a receipt I'm gonna pull up in a little bit of us saying, get ready, black men. You're going to be shamed for not voting for Kamala. Me and Ty spoke about this, and we're not saying we were the first ones to say this, because other people, if you just had half a brand, you knew this was coming, right? But especially after Stacey Abrams, her governor run, but we knew this was going to happen, and I'm just frustrated because it's like, yo, I don't hear Trump going out to white people saying white people got to vote for me. I don't hear, other races or demographic, other races being pressed so hard to vote for a particular candidate. So why are you guys targeting black men? We're not a monolith. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I agree that there are some people There are some people who are going to be sexist. There are some people who are going to be racist. There are some people who are just going to be super conservative. There are some people who are not going to vote for her just because of who she is and what she represents, right? I believe that that is the minority. I don't think that's the majority. People who wanted to vote for Bernie Sanders were labeled as Bernie bros, were labeled as misogynists. People said that misogyny was the reason that Hillary Clinton lost. Once again,
Right.
putting identity politics in this. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. And that's my initial thought. I'm going to unpack more of that. But like my initial thought is this is low. I think this is going to just embolden the people, the black men who already thought they were going to vote for somebody else. I think that this is going to push away people who were on the fence with Kamala because he's scolding black men this way. And we're talking about the black demographic. And I don't think it has I don't think that the overall reason we're not supporting Kamala is because of her sex or because of her race. I strongly believe that because I'm one of those people who's not voting for her, and I don't consider myself a sexist, nor do I consider myself a racist or anti-black, any of those things. So that's my first thought. Like I think this is bull. So this really upset me. I'm really upset that we keep getting scolded, not just by our women, but now by President Barack Obama. Now this
Yeah.
is wild, bro. I don't think this is a good look. I don't. I
Yeah.
don't, Ty.
No, I agree. I
I
agree.
don't.
I think it's super corny for him to come out and say this. Listen, maybe people just don't like her. Like me personally, I just don't like her. Like there's something about her personality that just doesn't like click with me. I didn't have that same issue with Hillary Clinton. I voted for Hillary. I had no issue with Hillary, and I think most black men had no issue with Hillary. All the black men voted for, like, I'm sure 90+% of black men voted for Hillary. So I don't think it's a
Yeah, she had a strong turnout with black men.
feeling me. Like, so I don't think it's a woman thing. I don't think dudes are like, I'm not voting for her because she's a woman. Men just don't like black men or men in general. She has an issue with all men of all
Yeah,
different
right.
Hispanic men, white men, black men. I don't know, any men, like Eskimo men, all of them. Like she has it because every second word out her mouth is abortion. Men don't really give a damn about that. I'm sorry to tell y'all, we don't really like. Okay, cool. If you want to talk about it, I support your decision on it. But it's not going. I'm not writing. I'm not. You know, when I go to bed at night, I'm not like, oh well. I mean, hopefully they get abortions. You know what I mean? Like that's not. We don't,
Right, right.
like it's like, you know what I mean? Like we it's okay. Like I support a woman's right to, do whatever she wants to do, but I don't want to hear, hey, abortion every other word out your mouth. I don't really give a damn. You're not saying anything. Okay, she get an abortion, cool. What do I get? I'm supposed to be happy she gets an abortion. That's it. That's basically what you like. Like that's her whole policy.
Yeah.
Hey, she gets an abortion, so you should be a manly man and be happy for her. Okay, cool. Can I get something? So no, it's corny that he's doing this, and you know what I mean. I was one of them guys. I revere him. I thought he was the man. You know what I mean? Like, but I think this is corny, and I don't think black men are not supporting her because she's a black woman. I think black men just don't like her. There's some, or not even black men. Men just don't like her. It's like she just rubs men the wrong way, and she rubs me the wrong way. So I'm not. First of all, I'm not voting for the Democratic ticket, regardless. This time around, I'm just not voting for him because I just don't see any usefulness. I don't see any value in the Democrats at this point in my life. Right? Maybe the next election, maybe I will. But I mean, I'm voting for Trump. I'm voting for Trump as an anti-Democrat vote. I'm still a registered Democrat. I support the ideology, but I think the ideology has went so far left that I don't support it anymore. And now I'm more like a Republican than a Democrat.
All right, so I did. I wanted to respond to both of y'all, right? So
Go ahead.
Joe said that like this was like low or whatever, and so he was like, oh, the white people don't sit there and like vote because of race and no other groups. Every other group does that. If an Asian American ever gets on any primary ticket ballot, Asian people are going to vote for that Asian. If a Hispanic person gets on the ballot, Hispanic people are going to vote for that Hispanic person.
But you're forgetting that Obama won.
Of the turnout for Barack Obama that they mentioned in terms of black people showing out, Trump winning was the antithesis of that, right? The reason why Trump won,
I agree with that.
The reason why Trump beat Hillary, like you just said, right? Because she had a black turnout. The reason why he beat them was because there was an intentionality of white men to show up and vote for Trump. Like, oh, we can vote purely off of race? Cool. So saying like him playing the race card is like weak. I'm like, no, like that's what politics is. Like there's a pandering to that. And I get it, right? But like again, as a community, we are the most disconnected community, bro. We the only people that don't vote for our own people with our own self-interest at heart, right? We always afraid we're gonna be sold out. So that, like, just saying that every other group, if anybody of their race gets on the ballot, they're gonna vote for them. White people, they gotta be woke, kind of, quote unquote. So they might be on the fence. But like Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, all the other groups, they voting within their own self-interest. Right? Like white people are the only people that like try to support other people, and black people are the only people that don't vote for their own interests. And then for with Ty, in terms of shit, what did you just say? You said something I wanted to respond to. You said fuck, I can't think of what I want to respond to you to. But I know that when we talking about all right, so what all you said for black men not liking Kamala, I feel bad for Kamala because she doesn't have a card to play. And we forget that politics is like reality TV is kind of like high school where like who's popular or what card you're gonna play. Like Barack Obama played the intelligent black guy card. Hillary Clinton played the Bill Clinton card. You don't like you we give her a lot of credit, but don't forget that like we like roll off she was in the White House for 8 years. She know how to run the country.
That's true.
Again, she would have won if white men didn't show up in droves for Trump. They was like, man, we can vote for race? Fuck y'all talking about. We voting for Trump.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck her. No, we voting for Trump because he for white people. And he did it subtly because that's what make America great again. You talking about people don't align with race. Yes, they do. I think overall, I personally agree with not just selecting the Democratic Party for the sake of selecting, but there are some hidden issues that the black men have within our own self-identity, right? If you don't like Kamala, tell me why. Don't tell me it's because like even when we talk about policy, if you talk about policy is made up of a cabinet, right? Like we know that any president is going to hire people and appoint people to do and make these decisions. And even
but you still need to be able to say
you
still got to be able to say something though. You still got to be able to say something. Like somebody can't ask you a question and you can't say, "Oh well, when I was a kid, I like lollipops." Like you still got to be able to have a goddamn coherent response to a question. Like I don't want to hear like, "Oh, I don't got to answer none of these questions. I got a cabinet." I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't like you can't stall me. You got to stall me out with the like she can't say anything because like the other guy is Trump. Right, so like he's saying delusional shit. So it's like
okay.
The girl
but let's
that
not talk about
really
Trump.
Get her stuff together.
But let's not talk about Trump though.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's not talk about Trump.
Huh?
Let's talk about her. When she answers a question, she can't answer the question.
Yeah,
like,
she doesn't.
Period.
She doesn't. G. She does not answer the question,
so if you want to say, tell me why you're not voting for Kamala, but tell me why you're not. Okay, tell me why you are, because I guarantee you're gonna say she black, she give abortions, or what else? What's this like? Or I hate Trump. Those are the three things you can't say. What's the fourth reason to vote for Kamala?
She just had a press tour, right? And let me just chime in because like Ty's making it. She just had a media press tour, right? Remember, she hid from the media for a while. It was like maybe 3.5 months. Her entire webpage had no policy on it. There was nothing on her page stating her policy. I don't want to hear, oh, she couldn't have known, or she got nominated last minute, so we don't know. I don't care. You ran before. You polled horribly, including in your home state. You should have known or had some kind of agenda or something that you stood on that you could have put up. You could have had some policy. You knew that the president already was declining in his mental faculties, and you wasn't prepared for that. I don't want to hear she wasn't ready for this. You're the vice president. You should have been ready for that. No policy on her website for 3.5 months. Now she dodged the media. She only went to the rallies where they have people who are already clearly going to vote for her. Everyone's kind of vetted, and they know you're already going to be pro Kamala. And then she went on talking about her platitudes. No policy. She just went on a press tour. She was on 60 Minutes. She was on the Late Night Show. She was on all these shows, the Howard Stern podcast, all these podcasts or these spaces that were going to treat her favorably. Got softball questions. Couldn't answer a question directly. Never answers a question directly. She
Never,
offers
bro.
nothing of substance, right? And so G was saying, what are the reasons that black men aren't going to vote for her, right? And I'm gonna list some reasons as to why a black man or a man, period, right? Because she's having issues with men, not just black men, right? Wouldn't vote for her. That doesn't involve her race. And one of them I just told you, she can't answer a question straightforward. She doesn't offer any policy. She keeps pushing reproductive rights, which is important, but for men, that's like 7th or 8th on the list of priorities because we're worried about the
Yeah,
economy, the cost of
yeah,
food, inflation, going to war because men are overly represented in these wars, going to war with 2 different countries right now. We got
yeah,
U.S. Military actually being shipped to the Middle East now to fight wars at like already in. They got boots in Lebanon, probably going to Israel. Like we're talking about getting into wars, which she's fully endorsed supporting Ukraine. We've already given them billions of aid billions of aid. Like these are things that men are more concerned about. The fact that she's even black is up for debate. I don't consider her a black woman. She decided to come out as a black woman when she started where she was nominated as the presumptive nominee. So I don't even consider her as a black woman. If you want to talk about the one drop rule, I think that's rooted in white supremacy. So I'm just gonna say I don't think she's a black woman. She came out as South Asian woman. So stand on that. You know what I mean? She already said explicitly she's not doing anything for the black community. Yet her administration, because she was a vice president to Biden, as soon as a couple Asians got killed and they was getting harassed and getting bullied, they passed the Asian hate crime bill. She did something for her demographic. She can't do nothing for us, but she did something for her people. She incarcerated black men in California as attorney general over petty drug charges, extended charges so that they had more prison labor. She let that one man get who was on death row. He got executed, right? Even with evidence saying that this wasn't a fair trial, that he was innocent, she wanted to omit the evidence that would have proven his innocence. Like there's so many things that she's done that I'm like, bro, like she can't stand on anything right now. She can't stand. There are so many reasons other than the fact that she's a black woman that we just aren't voting for her. I'm like, bro, she offers nothing of substance. Like
but
I
G,
have.
and nothing. G, niggas didn't like her during a primary when she ran in 2020. In 2020, so now everybody's supposed to love her. Now y'all didn't like her then. Now y'all like her.
No,
She pulled
Y'all didn't like
horribly.
her.
no. So listen, I hear everything you saying. Right? I hear everything you saying. You know these facts, Joe. I'm educated, and I don't even know all of this stuff. I told you, I'm like mentally tapped out. I
Yeah, no,
will
you
say that
good.
I think that politics now is different. Trump changed the game, bro. So
He
now,
did.
and from a marketing perspective, right? I'm thinking about her team from a marketing
Oh God.
perspective, behind the scenes, trying to figure out
No,
how
bro.
to fucking
No. She's the boss, though. She's the boss. You gotta be the
No.
boss. You can't just be like, yo, oh my God, bro. Like, yo, no.
Hold on.
You're the
Hold
boss.
on, bro.
You should have a
Hold on.
goddamn competent.
No,
Like,
listen.
Even if you're not an expert in finances, you should have an idea about finances. You can't just be like, you can't ask Obama a question and he'd be like, oh, well, I don't know nothing about numbers. Ask this guy. That's crazy.
She's the talent. She's the talent, bro. But you literally, like, all right. To all things considered, she would not be she would not be the Democrats' fucking pick for president because of this reason. They knew that. They know that. They knew that she can't do the things that she cannot do.
Then maybe that means she can't be president, nigga. Like,
but like, what else? What they gonna do? What's their option?
lose.
Even
Like,
Obama didn't
gotta
endorse
go
her when
down
she first
fighting.
came out.
That's what I'm saying. Like, as you saying, Joe's saying all this shit. Like, oh, don't tell me you got less than 3 months. Like, yo, they listen. You talking about they knew that they were incompetent. It was probably in 2022. They were sitting there like, yo, Joe not gonna win, bro.
Yeah, they knew he wasn't.
Listen,
Yeah.
and they over there and they was like, bro, but like Kamala not gonna win either. They was like, fuck it, we got to rock out with Joe. They chose the lesser of two evils, and in the middle of that, this motherfucker got more delusional, and they was like, "Oh,
I agree.
fuck.
I could agree with that.
But you know why I don't?
Fuck,
But here's the thing. But this is why I don't sympathize for Kamala though, because I agree that she got placed into a rough spot, right? But you know why I don't have sympathy? Because we Americans wanted another choice when they were polling, when there were even just thoughts of talk or rumors of Biden having to step down because of his mental decline. Americans were saying we want another option. but they refused to let other options primary Joe. They didn't have other parties in the debates. They took candidates off the ballot, including RFK Jr., who I don't support. But hey, listen, it's America, right? If you want to run and you got people who want to rock out with you, let them run and let the Americans voters choose, right? We wanted other options and they didn't give it to us. And so not only did they prevent us from getting other options by removing candidates off ballots and not allowing other people to come up to the debates and to debate Biden, nobody could primary Biden. Then on top of that, you blocked any other candidate to come up. And then once you made him step down, you propped it up a candidate we didn't vote for. No one voted for Kamala Harris, bro. I hate Trump. I hate Trump. But listen, Trump is running fairly. He's going through the democratic process. People are able to, he's got his name on a ballot legally. Like, he's going through the process. And if people vote for him, that is their freaking American right to vote for him. But you're not going to make me vote for somebody I didn't even choose that you propped up. That's crazy, bro.
I hear you.
That's crazy.
I'm just saying that from a strategic standpoint, right? This is marketing. Trump has attention. Trump, no matter what you say about Trump, right?
He does.
In today's marketing world, it's about the audience that you have. What audience do you bring to the industry? He brings millions, if not like billion fucking people on him at any given time. And there's nobody, there was no one person except the only person who could possibly beat him just because he was acting president and there was all this talk of war was Joe Biden. That's the only motherfucker who had, excuse my language, that's the only person who had a chance to even compete with him just because he acting president and there's talk of war, right? Americans are like, you know what? It might be a war going on. And it would have been, if he was still president, they would have jumped all the way in on whatever war they're going in on. Because they'd have been like, yeah, man, let's get in this, keep him in office, right? They'd have been like, yo, we got to get in this, bro. It's crazy. When he start publicly declining, bro, nobody else, RFK, anybody else, they don't have an audience. Bernie, right, lost his audience. That's why Bernie could kind of compete back in the day, because he had an audience, but he didn't fit the agenda. They like, yo, bro, you not like with the whole party. Like, we got other stuff. You trying to do too much for the people, brother. We got bigger stuff going on, right? So we need Hillary in here. They don't have anybody charismatic enough with enough personality, because that's what's required in today's politics. You can't just talk about policy. That's why Kamala, they like, yo, she probably was going back and like, yo, they keep asking for policy. They're like, Kamala, if you go up there and you try to articulate your policy, he's going to destroy you.
But let me ask y'all this. What do y'all make of black women trying to shame us because because a portion of black men aren't interested in voting for Kamala? What do y'all make of that? Let me ask you, because I asked G the question first. So let me ask you, Joe. What do you make of black women? And I can pull up some examples. If you want some fresh examples, I can pull them right up for you.
I think it's a losing strategy, right? I really think it's a losing strategy. And then while we're here, just really quickly, if I could just, I'll pull this up, Ty, because I want to make sure we got receipts, right? This is where we're
Trump
at, right?
intent.
We were right here.
I could go on a tangent.
I just had it.
I get on and dance. Me.
That's what it is. Watch, we're predicting it. We know what's going to happen here at No Picks Podcast. We are predicting it. Get ready, gentlemen. We're going to be shamed into voting for Kamala Harris. They're going to try to shame us, I should say.
Right.
I'm not voting for Kamala. You have no energy behind it. You are cooked. And Trump, you might as well just put that man in office right now. We should just skip everything and just put Trump into office right now, bro, because he's going to win, right? But they just cemented it with this. So let's open it up to the family, right? All right, so that was almost 3 months ago, right? So this is me and Ty talking almost 3 months ago, bro. Like, we was there already.
Wait. Let me add to it. Let me add to that. Let me paint the picture a little more vividly, right? How about this?
Be the reason this country falls into a dictatorship, all because your patriarchal conditioning won't let you accept having a woman as your leader. Many of you complain about how hard life is as a black man in America, but let me warn you now, it's only going to become more difficult if Trump gets a second term. Black women have consistently voted in favor of the protection of our democracy. 90% of black women voted for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in 2020, and 96% of black women voted for Obama in 2008. So our proven history is assures me that we're going to do the same in this election. But we cannot do this without the support of Black men. And although we love the representation, we're not just voting for Kamala because she's a Black woman. We are voting for her because she is the most qualified candidate for the job and has a clean criminal record, unlike her opposer. We all know what's at stake because we lived it for 4 years.
All right, just one more, and I'm gonna be done.
Oh God, this makes me sick to my stomach.
Black men in particular. This is just for y'all. All the Black men that are out here claiming to vote for Trump over Kamala, and in some cases for the simple fact that she's a woman.
It's not. It's just.
Y'all don't like y'all mama, do y'all?
Crazy.
Here we go. Here we
like
go.
Some women hurt you.
Here we
to
go.
the core.
Some who hurt you.
Your sister abused you. Something fucking happened in your life for you to sit here as a Black man to say, I would rather choose a felon, the worst president in history, not my word.
Fuck it, one more. I said I lied.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this with my chest. If you don't vote in this election or you vote the wrong way and you're Black, you deserve everything that you don't get. You deserve being overlooked for that job opportunity. You deserve getting pulled over driving while Black. You deserve racial inequality. You deserve having to have a job with a non-livable wage. You deserve the fact that you're going to have student loan debt for the next 25 years. You deserve not being able to buy a house and build generational wealth. Some of y'all are just embarrassing. And I'm not talking about embarrassing to yourselves. You're embarrassing to your ancestors.
Damn, the ancestors too. Hold on. All right. So I'm gonna respond to your question now. This, if you have to shame a portion of your voter demographic to vote for you, you've already lost. I've been saying that for months now because everyone's like, a vote for a vote third party is a vote for Trump. A vote for this is a vote for that. And it's like, no, I'm voting for who I want and who my principles align with because I'm an American citizen. It is my right to exercise my political right to vote for any candidate I want. And if you're shaming me for that, that for me is very un-American. I'm sorry, bro. Like, voter shaming is dead. I don't care who does it. Left, right, third. If you have to shame people into voting for you, you are on the wrong side. I'm speaking to Republicans. I'm speaking to Democrats. I'm speaking to Black, white. I don't care what your demographic is. If you have to shame people into voting for you, you've lost. You've lost. I'm sorry, Black women, the ones who think that way. You cannot shame me into voting for Kamala Harris. It will not work anymore. Just like you can't shame us into dating with you and being in relationships with you with your 3 or 4 baby mamas and baby daddies and kids and all this and over all the stuff that comes with. You cannot shame us into marrying you. You cannot shame us into dating you if you are unfavorable to us, if you bash us on the internet, all those things. You cannot make us do that. You can't shame us into doing these things. Like, I'm sorry, bro. I'm so tired of being shamed into being like listen, this G. I know you laughing, bro, but this frustrates me, bro. Like, it angers me that they talk to Black men like this. It's kind of like they want to scold us and wag their little finger at us. It's like, bro, I'm a grown ass man. I'm a grown man. I can think for myself. I don't have to vote because it's like Team Black. I wish it could be that easy,
Right.
but it's
Let me
not.
ask you a question.
Yeah.
In the Black community, is the Black community a matriarch?
Oh
Like,
my
is
God.
it a matriarchy? Yeah. The Black community, is it run by men or is it run by women? Really think about it. Really think about it. Is it who holds the keys in the power in the Black community? Who runs stuff in the Black community?
It's Black women. It's Black women.
This is why they feel like they can talk to us this way. This is why they can look at us and say, "Hey, you guys just don't know any better. Just do what we tell you to do."
Well, but this is why I think that the it's so hard, bro. Why? All right, so I want to comment, right? Hearing these Black women talk this way is so disheartening, just because I know that it's from a ignorant standpoint, right? When she making all these claims, Black women 96% voted for Obama, 90% voted for Biden, etc. And then thinking about the Democratic Party and how its representation of the black community over the last 60, 70 years, right? Like we started voting Democrat in maybe like the 60s. I think like we
Right.
started to shift over, right? And we could talk about all those things, the breakdown of the nuclear family, all of that. So on that side, I am saddened by it because it's just ignorance. It's pure ignorance. It's pure rhetoric. There is no evaluation of what have you done for me. For the community perspective, now from a black woman perspective, the Democratic Party has been nothing but beneficial to them as a
Yes.
singular entity.
Yes.
So when
Yes.
they're making this argument,
Yeah.
I understand why they make
I
it.
get it
bro.
too. Yeah.
They're
I
the
Yeah.
most educated. They got like they own the most homes. They got the most jobs that they have. They have the most opportunity. Like from a singular perspective, as a singular entity, black women in the Democratic Party go together like this. Now,
Yeah.
black men in the Democratic Party, historically, we have a very complicated relationship, even with our favorite fucking superheroes, right? Bill Clinton
Yeah.
sent a bunch of us to jail. Barack Obama sent a bunch of us to war. And like we have this like relationship with the Democratic Party that is contrary to what it from a black man perspective. But also, to her point, there are some black men who are traumatized. Now, is it rightfully traumatized? Or are we like, do you not like your mom? No, yeah, I love my mama, but I think my mama made some very bad decisions based off of her resources and upbringing. And that
That's fair.
I don't hate her, but I also know that like, mom, you told me to be Democrat for no reason.
Right.
Ooh.
You get what I'm
Ooh.
saying? And so like
Yeah.
there are some things, but there are some men who don't understand that like they do have a hatred for black women.
How about this?
bro?
If that's the
whatever
case,
percentage
okay,
of
cool.
men-
That's fine. If that's the case, and black women have run the black family for centuries, or I mean not centuries, decades, then you're to blame.
But they so
You're like if a black woman is raising the black man, then and the black man is like faulty in some way, then the black woman is to blame because she
But the
raised them.
No, so the narrative, and this is where the separation thing is. This is the narrative is that they're gonna paint it as if like, oh, your men aren't shit. There was a narrative of like black men not being shit, right? There's like in terms of fathers. I think we talked about this on another episode. Like,
Which is
statistically,
BS. It's a BS
it's
narrative.
all BS, right? But that's
It's
the
a BS
narrative, right? So
right.
like
and they run with it though.
They like
They
it's
run
the
with it.
same narrative that we're American, bro. If we believe anything, any lies about black people within the black community, is because it's an American lie.
I'm not talking about. I'm not bringing white people into it. I'm not trying to bring white people into the situation.
I'm not bringing a white people into it. I'm just saying that from the perspective of we believe the lies about black men the same way everybody else believe the lies about black men. That we are we're fucking criminals, right? That we like are more of us in jail than there are in college.
So then, if we believe that, that's an us thing. So we like if
that's an American thing, motherfucker. Everybody in America believe that.
I don't like this conversation.
The same propaganda. It's the same propaganda. It's the same media. And like just because we are part of the race, don't mean that we not under the same fucking tutelage. There's a reason why Jimmy on his forum hate me and he never met me, right? Because he's been fed media and propaganda that teaches him that I'm something that I'm not. And that's the same reason why that's why Jaheim up the street hate me too, because he think I'm a nigga too.
Yeah,
they hate me for the same reason.
So I don't like this conversation because it removes all accountability from us, and it blames white people for 100% everything.
No,
and I disagree with that
I said
concept.
the media. No. So I listen.
The media is run by who? What color are the people who run the media?
Rich white people.
It's rich.
Okay, so we're blaming white people.
I'm not bringing it race. I'm not. Listen, bro. I am educated enough to understand that people at a certain level do not care about what race you are. They care about how much money you make, how much like of value.
That's true.
The richest people in the world are of a different race. There are Asians up there at the highest level. There are some Arabs at that level. They don't.
What does
care
this have
about
to do
that,
with black women treating us a certain way?
I'm gonna go back to from an American perspective. There is a divide and
conquer. No. Let's talk about our black women specifically. Why are they talking to us like this?
Because they have been divided into their own separate own separate class in which the Democratic Party is more beneficial to them than the Republican. And because of that, they don't see the overall effect that has on the black community as a whole, because the Democratic Party is less or fucking negatively impacting the African American male. And they don't see the correlation. They don't see the correlation of us going to jail and them going to college. They don't see that it's the same party causing that. And that's because of the media, the language in which they and again, from a marketing perspective, the party itself is putting out its messaging. All of this stuff is marketing, bro. And understanding that's where I'm talking about, like, the media perspective. Listen, bro, there's a certain way I can play on your emotions, I can play on your triggers, I can do all of that stuff. And that's all of this stuff is. And so from the Democratic Party, they've positioned themselves to be beneficial to the African American male, because they know that the African American community is matriarchal, and they've positioned it so that they are beneficial to them as singular identities, and they think it's the best thing for their family. But they don't see that, like, they don't see we going to jail. They don't see we uneducated. They don't see that correlation because they're doing good. I'm gonna do it on my own.
But I don't know if I believe how well they're doing, because black men still make more than black women. Like, we still, like, if you look at the numbers, we still make more than black women. Like, yeah, black women go to school more than black men. That's true. But they go to school for, like, underwater basket weaving. They go to school for psychology and then end up in retail. Like, they got student loan debt. That's why they're going so hard for the Democratic Party, because they want them student loans forgiven, because they're not going to work in their field anyway. So I don't know how
but that's like, so that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, without the protection of the black male, they don't realize that. They don't have a, and this might sound sexist, like, on my position, but like a equally yoked, a balanced entity, right, has the ability to go home and have a different perspective. A married woman is going to come home and say, baby, they offered me $65,000 for this job, and her husband is going to be like, yo, my man Tommy do that. They pay at least 75. Don't take that offer. A single woman with 3 kids, she gonna be like, yo, they offered me 50. On it.
Yeah.
They offered me 50. And she don't have nobody to, and unless she has, like, some type of circle or some type of event, but you don't, unless you have a man, because men get paid more. So unless you have a man in your circle, right, unless you have somebody to give you, like, reference to know that's not an acceptable offer, you're gonna take it. And that's why, like, them being more educated, but we still make more, is, again, that's a part of the division. They can get that. Like, I was talking to you earlier. I was saying you see a bunch of more female bus drivers, a bunch of female workers, et cetera, because they can get a workforce that feel like they have a livable wage that's doing the same job that a man, like, no, you got to pay me more.
Facts.
Gio was saying in so many different ways too. Which this part I agree with your argument. G, is that our black women, portions of our black women, not all, we're speaking generally, right? But the ones who think this way have been indoctrinated. They've been indoctrinated into the Democratic Party. They've been propped up onto a pedestal. Me and Ty, we made a video a few months ago where former Senator of Ohio, Nina Turner, was talking about how black men are pretty much emasculated in the Democratic Party, how they prop up all these, like, zesty LGBTQ black men in all these high positions that represent us. Like, you see the Don Lemons, you see every time you see the Roland Martins, you see every time you see a black man speaking for us on the Democratic Party on the CNN, it's always like some guy who's identified as LGBTQ. He's always crying on camera about something. He's not very masculine. So Nina Turner, former Senator Nina Turner herself said, like, listen, the Democratic Party has put the black woman on a pedestal, and they put basically black men at the bottom of the totem pole. And black women have kind of sipped this Kool-Aid. They've accepted this position to be placed on this pedestal, and they took it with open arms, and they've embraced it. And now they kind of just look down on disdain at black men. But we, not just black men though, but even men, just men generally speaking, they don't see themselves represented in the Democratic Party. We just don't. We don't feel like their platform speaks to us. We don't feel like we have a space there. For the longest time, it's been masculinity is toxic. Men are enemies. F the patriarchy. Patriarchy is sexist and misogynist. We've heard all these things about men telling men not to be men, right? And so I've never, for the longest time, I haven't seen myself reflected in the Democratic Party. So you're right, G. Black women have been conditioned or indoctrinated. They're sipping the Kool-Aid and they're just guzzling. They chasing it down. They love the Kool-Aid.
They're serving it now.
Now they're serving, right?
Where they like, yo,
Right.
They're in the kitchen
Right.
making the fucking Kool-Aid. Like they're so
Right.
indoctrinated in
And they don't
the
see it.
process. They
They
like,
don't
yo,
see it.
drink the Kool-Aid. And the big reason why is the equality versus equity, right? And this, it may sound sexist, but and this is where I lie, right? I told you I'm registered Republican. Black men are like, what's in it for me? Because like you've told us, you've said, oh, we're going to give you these government programs to help y'all. Men by design want ownership. We want equity. We want control.
Yeah.
We want to be able to feel like some stuff is ours.
Yeah.
We had enough with the Democrats. We don't own shit. So now we tired of it. And that's like with
Yeah.
women, they like, but no, like,
That's
look,
facts.
like we gotta the kids can eat.
That's facts.
They worry about the basic necessities. Like you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm generalizing. But
Yeah.
the agreements that we've made with the Democratic Party is give us food, right? Give us somewhere to live, right? Give us the bare minimum resources. Just make sure
Give us a tax return. Give us some money back for our tax return.
Give us a little bit of tax return, right? Make sure I can I'm generalizing, but the bare minimum, like give us something. Don't let us own anything. And that's the difference. We saying like with Trump and with the Republican Party, if you pay attention to what they saying, they talking about ownership. They talking about American citizenship and we got rights and the government. And it's like, yeah, you're right. If I make my own money and they can't, like you think about how much freedom you have if you're not being taxed as much as you are. But again, they serving the Kool-Aid. Yeah. They don't understand that the Democratic Party started a campaign to go after the African American community, and they went after the women.
So my thing is this. So I mean, we probably should start wrapping it. This was an incredible conversation. I'm not trying to rush y'all or anything, but my thing is this. I think what I mentioned earlier, I really do believe. Like I had a conversation with my aunt, maybe about a month ago, and I'm talking to her. Man, it wasn't even that. Maybe 2 weeks ago, two weekends ago. And I'm like, yo, listen, hey, Aunt Kathy, like, what do you think of the whole race? She's like, hey, she's like, listen, nephew, I don't really care who you vote for, but, I want you to vote. I'm like, well, I always vote. You ain't got to worry about that. I was like, so I'm like, so I asked her, try to, dig a little deeper. And I'm like, all right, well, what do you think of, a growing percentage of black men kind of peeling off from the Democratic Party and kind of looking at Trump like, I'm one of those people, obviously, but I wasn't trying to say that to her to try to start a fight because I knew what type of time she was on, right? She a black older woman. She's going to vote for Kamala, all day. So I'm like, what do you think about that? And she looks at me and she says, you know what, nephew? She was like, it doesn't surprise me because, I don't mean any offense when I say this, but, our black men aren't all that bright. And I'm like, I'm sitting there looking at her like, really?
They believe this.
And that's like a microcosm of how black women think of black men. They're like, yo, we are in charge. Y'all beneath us. Shut the F up. Do what we say. Vote how we say vote. If you don't, you're an idiot.
Are they wrong?
Yes.
They are 100% wrong.
They're very
I'm not
wrong.
an idiot. What do you mean?
They're very wrong.
Now listen. Take your personal feelings out of it. I got asked this same question. I remember I remember this. My man Nasir. Nasir is of the LGBT community, and he said the straight black male is the weakest link in the black community. And as I start to evaluate that as a whole, not us, because again, Joe, Tyrese, Giovanni, we are the exception to every norm where we are from.
Okay, explain what you mean, though. Explain what you mean. How are straight black men the weak link in the black community?
Okay, well, so from the norm in the black community, in the urban black community. Now, I'm not speaking from all, but to be educated, to not have been going to jail, right? To not have been to not have some type of like criminal record, etc. To own property amongst the people that we know, just in our communities, it's uncommon. So, like for the most of us, like we're in jail, right? Like in our black community.
No. I disagree with that concept. I'm not agreeing with you. I don't think most black men are in jail. I don't think most black men have criminal records. I disagree with that notion 100%. I don't agree with that.
So from again, let's look at small sample sizes in urban and strictly urban environments where we know the incarceration rates are higher for African American male. We know that the death rates or homicide rates by gun violence is higher, right? Like we in these high density areas of concentrated poor black people, they're not wrong, bro. There are like the bro. You're not going to tell me that we like the most incarcerated. We the most we the like high school dropout rates are higher in our impoverished areas, et cetera, et cetera, and especially amongst our men. Like if you go into the numbers, and I'm one of us. Go into the numbers. Go deep into the numbers. Our black men are suffering. They are suffering, bro, and I mean that from the depth of my soul. I'm not saying it to like
But
say
you
we ain't shit.
do you,
I'm saying we suffering, bro, and it's like there's an intentionality to it, and so when they say that, it's the reality, bro. There are like the black male right now that's out there in that world is not that equipped. He's not, bro. And some of them men, them 18-year-old men, some of them kids that y'all be seeing on the
So, G,
y'all
let me
be
ask you.
posting the same news and posting about Philly shit going on.
What
That's
percentage
them
of
the
black
same
men? What percentage of black men do you think are in jail or have criminal records out of 100%?
It's
Like,
going-
what would you say?
So again, when you get into the numbers, if you talking overall, black men,
Yeah,
you're
100%.
not a monolith. That doesn't how it exists. If you talking about if you go into a zip code like 19132, you tell me the numbers. It's gonna be
No,
more
I mean
to
all
me.
of us throughout the U.S. What, it's like about 50
No,
million.
you can't
50
do
million.
that. That's not. You cannot do that. You have to do that in strictly impoverished areas where we come from. You have to do that by zip code because painting
That's
that
impossible.
picture
That's
as if we're
so that's a
painting
number
the
you can
picture as if we're
never.
a monolith. You cannot make the argument that we're not a monolith and then trying to
But
say
G,
like, oh, how,
but G, if you're saying the majority of black men have criminal records or in this effed up
certain
situation,
areas in impoverished
okay, but
areas,
that has a number. That has to have a number attached to it, though. You have to say, hey, like, if okay, so my aunt made a generalized statement and said, hey, black men. She didn't say hey, black men in Philly. She didn't say black men in New York. She said black men.
come on.
She didn't
We
care
make-
if you
we're
was
not
from
gonna do that.
rural
Don't do
Mississippi.
that.
She
Don't
didn't
do that
care.
to
She
me.
didn't.
We make generalizations all the time, but we know that those generalizations are based off our
so
personal
Jill,
experiences. So she's talking as an African American woman living in urban Philadelphia, in Germantown, a known like coming from a
But
known
G,
impoverished neighborhood. Like that's what she's talking from. So so if she's saying that from her perspective, yes, that's correct. If a hood black person say
no.
most black people are in jail,
The argument you're giving right now is it's her truth. That's nonsense. Like what you're
I'm
like.
not saying
That's like
that's
it's
true. I'm not saying
that's what.
true.
Well, from her
I'm
perspective,
saying
that's
that
what you're. That's like no.
her
But numbers matter though. Like
her
the numbers
generalizations
matter.
are-
Like
if you were to do
if
your
10% of black men are incarcerated and have like criminal records, I'm not trying to hear some all black men got this messed up situation and we like I'm not trying to hear that.
do it by zip code, bro. Do it by
Gio.
zip code.
All right, so hold on. So okay, so I disagree with a lot of what Gio just said, right? But you can have that opinion. I don't believe that black men are the weakest link. I don't believe. I mean, and of course I could be biased because a lot of the most, if not all, of the black men in my circle are successful, engaged in their families, making moves, are accomplished. Like so for me, my circle's different, right? I like to surround myself around people who get into the bag and actually bout something. That was a conscious choice I made, right? So, do you think that black women so if the narrative is that black men are the weakest link, do you think that for black women, the narrative for their image is that all of them are out here winning and are college
Right.
educated and
Right.
homeowners?
Crushing it out
Because
here.
that for me is complete bullshit. I don't want to
That's
cuss,
cap.
but that for me
That's
is
cap.
cap. Because black
Yeah.
women are out. Because if you're talking about in impoverished areas, and I'm in Philly right now, and I walk around, it looks like freaking everybody's coming out of freaking Tuang Fu, looking like drag queens with the wigs and the nails and the lashes, looking like baps. Like I'm seeing black women around here, and I'm like, bro, I don't see these boss bees with the college degrees owning houses, bro. I see
You know
hood
why?
bugs. I see shorties on SEPTA with 3 or 4 kids. I see, you know what I mean? Like I don't know what you see, but this is what I see. And I'm not trying to say this is what they're all like, but if
No.
we're talking about narratives or representation, I don't see this black powerful boss woman as the black woman in at least not in Philly. I don't see that, bro.
It's numbers. So again, this is why I'm making the argument that I'm making. It's a numbers game, right? In terms of women outnumber us already to maybe almost 3 to 1, right?
Okay.
So like you're gonna have more of them showing up in those areas. You still gonna have them. Also, we are dying, right? In terms of like the number of in terms of black males in certain areas, right? We die and we are incarcerated at a higher rate. So you don't see as many of us, right? They outnumber us. So if they doing good, if they got like 2 to 1, if they got 50 to 100 to 1, if half of their people do good and only 25% of you get what I'm saying, like half of ours do good, it's not going to be the same. It's still going to look like they doing well. They still going to be more represented because there are more of them. So of course it's still going to be a bunch of hood rat bitches in there. Excuse my language. It's still going to be a bunch of hood rats in there, but because they got way more than we do, the ones that excel or exceed, right, it's going to be more. They're going to be more representative in that as well. In addition to that, and with when we talk about the overall numbers, when we talk about
I
it,
know,
we
bro,
talking
and I hear you. It's a numbers game. It's about
Yeah, I
proportions,
don't
but I,
agree.
I still don't
I can't.
see
Yeah,
black women winning in the way that you are
I
painting it.
don't,
Like I
bro.
don't,
No.
bro. Like I'm trying to like I just I'm sorry, bro, but I just don't see black women winning in that way. I just
it's
don't.
the narrative, and then that's but you hear the rhetoric, right? Like
And that's not on some
you
hating
you hear
stuff.
the
If they're winning, that's
you hear
great.
the, I know, but you hear the podcast. Black women are the most educated. Like we
They're
all
not the most
understand black.
educated. They're the most
No.
enrolled.
Yeah.
We're the most
They're not
enrolled,
the
right?
most educated. They're the most enrolled, bro. That's another narrative that
But
black women have been fed that is just not true. They go to
that's
college at high rates. They often go into
Yeah.
college with kids as well. Black women that usually enter college about a little less than half enter college with kids already too. So they're coming in with kids. Like,
now you
but
about to get into my wheelhouse. You know, I'm a first generation college student advocate. I advocate for the first generation student journey. But bro, overall, I get why. I'm not saying that they right. I get why they think that way. I think why
but
I
it's
get why.
sad, bro. Some of these narratives are so false, but they run with it, bro. The whole thing
Nah.
about deadbeat black fathers, the whole thing about
Yeah.
black men being incarcerated or gay,
Who
why
pushing
is
the
why they can't
narrative?
find black men, huh?
Who pushing the narrative?
But wait, no,
The,
but
the
G, wait.
media. The
Let
media
me
is pushing the
let,
narrative, bro, and they're running
let me
with
ask you,
it
G. How is the gay black man a stronger person within the black community than the straight black man? Like,
because black women said so.
oh
Because
yeah,
they
yeah,
Oh,
hey,
be-
facts,
you know that, Ty,
facts,
because
well,
black women
facts,
propped them up and
facts.
made them their allies, and you know what I mean,
Yeah.
well.
put their
Because
causes above ours.
they be in a nail
Now
shop together. Like, yo, fuck that
let
girl.
me
Like,
let me
you're right.
let me wait. Let me
Facts.
clarify.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that statement because we know that for the black community to continue, you need heterosexual exchange of energy to
Right.
create life, and that's just the way it goes. Right now, while I'm a look over there, and when Nasir said it to me, I had to think about it because
You said you agreed though.
no, so I agree to a certain degree, to a certain extent. It was hard to accept it, but like from his perspective, I'm like, no, I get it. I don't agree
But
that
you
he didn't
but
say
but you
he
agree.
didn't say that the gay black male was the strongest link. He just said that the
No,
straight
but
black male.
okay, but if the straight black male is the weakest link, the implication is they're higher on the ranking totem pole than us. So why are
Right.
they?
Right.
Why?
That's
Like,
true.
what do they bring
well,
to the
That's
black
true too.
community
Yeah.
that we don't?
well,
So obviously,
so
the
do
black
you
woman is number top.
hold
Ain't
on,
nobody fighting the
hold on.
black woman
So all
position,
right,
right?
cool.
She's King Kong, right?
If you want to get into that number, we can purely get into statistics of murder within the black community.
No. I'm not talking about. No. I want to
No.
know
I'm
why
answering.
the gay
That's
man
why.
is better than the
Because
straight
the
man.
gay black man doesn't murder the black man as much as the straight black man.
That's it. That's the pure.
You think so,
If you
Ty?
want to add, like if
I don't
if-
agree
at
with
the
that. That's absolute nonsense. Like I think that's
In,
like
so
I,
gee, that's an interesting concept because it's the first time I'm hearing like this is a reason as to why, you know.
No, I mean, well, again, so we're talking overall themes, right? We're talking about like when he's saying that, we're talking about again. I'm looking at context of him, urban African American male, grew up in Philly, in the city, got a bunch of like drug dealing, gun toting cousins and brothers, etc. So you're talking from that perspective. So he's saying that, and I'm like, all right, why would you say that? And bro, we do like, bro, I grew up with 30 kids, 15 males. It's 5 of us that's normal African, like normal dudes, like we raising our kids. It's 5 of them that's dead. It's 5. The other 5 were some type of criminal and fell into that category of like trifling nigga at some point, was like a deadbeat or something like that. It's like, so again, where you from, Tyrese? The number of people you grew up with from, Joe. Like Joe, same thing with you. In our experiences, we're the rarity, and I'm not going to act like because statistically that's not represented across the entire country. Where I'm from, what I've seen and what I've experienced, we're the rarity. Now we found each other. I found you in college, Joe. Tyrese, you found Joe. We've built communities of us like-minded, but around us, you got friends. That's the reality. So when they speak of the same reality, I'm not gonna act like it's not the truth because it's coming at who I am. I'm a part of that identity.
But I'm still not understanding niggas from where we from. What I'm still not understanding is, so the reason that the gay black man ranks higher than the straight black man is because they don't kill each other at as high as. First of all, when you hear murder rates, they don't talk about sexuality. They don't be like, this gay guy shot this other gay guy. They don't talk about that. Like they like.
See, but then now we gotta get into some amazing. But then
hold on.
Talk about. Go ahead.
So I think that we should try to maybe give some final thoughts on.
Yeah,
So
right,
listen. I really don't want this comment. I have so many questions I want to ask G and go back and forth for Ty, but I'm like, bro, we could talk about this for another couple hours, right? And I love that.
Right.
I think some of the best conversations go on tangents. You know, they're intertwined with other narratives, so this is fantastic, right? So family, just know that anytime we talk about something related, even closely related to race, there's history behind it. There's intentionality behind it. Like Gio says, there's a big gray area, right? Which is why these conversations kind of sprawl out sometimes. But we're going to try to bring it back and give some final thoughts, just to close it up, on the Kamala Harris, on President Barack Obama scolding black men, saying that the reason that we're not voting for her is because because of sexism, is because we hatred or envy towards the black woman, like whatever he was saying. So I love this conversation, guys. I do, and I'm just trying to snip it in the bud before people are like, "Oh, you're going on tangents." But I know why we're going on a tangent though. Like it's impossible that we don't. You know what I mean? I get it. So with that said, I want to give it to our guest, and then Ty after that. Just give your final thoughts on this, on the clip and what we reacted to.
I got you. So final thoughts on just the whole Kamala Harris. In terms of Barack Obama calling out the African American male for voting for her and kind of shaming them. For the African American males that are making an informed decision and choosing to vote for whatever candidate best aligns with their decision, there is no shame for voting for that candidate. For the people, African American males that are not voting for Kamala purely because she's a woman, there's shame in that. There should be shame in that, and he's allowed to shame them for that. If it's not you, don't let it stick. If it is you, you should feel bad. You should be making an informed decision whenever you are picking the next leader of the country, right? Regarding so that's the final takeaway from that. Was it in addition to that, was it cheap? Was it shameful? I mean, it's a card. I think that the Democratic Party, I think the Democratic Party played their joker. We're about 50, 60 days outside of the election. They need to make some type of push. Right now, we're talking about the Democratic Party again, like you said, it's been making its rounds in the news. They don't have any star power outside of Barack, and they needed some type of provocative news to get going, to get the Democratic Party talked about in some type of way. And that's what it was.
So for me, listen, I love Barack. I listen, nobody can tell me, listen, when he became president, I remember Jeezy made a song when I was in college. He said, "My president is black." And at the end of the song, he was like, "It's a hands-off policy. Y'all touch him, we ride." And everybody knew what that meant, right? So I was all on board, bro. Like I'd have went out there in my Hollister shirt. I'd have been out there like, what y'all trying to do, bro? Like,
he's stupid.
Hollister.
But I say that to say this. Although I loved him back then, I love him now. I think he's a figure that will live on throughout the ages, right? Like people will be talking about this dude, remember him 1,000 years from now, right? But I think this was a bad move, and I don't think not a single person that was considering voting for Trump or not voting for Kamala, that changes anything. If anything, it makes people want to double down. That's a terrible strategy. For me in particular, I'm like, I'm not voting for her, I'm voting for Trump, right? Because everybody know that's where I stand on this, right? it's not because I particularly don't like her. It's or about either one of the candidates. I don't like Trump and I don't like her, right? But I don't like what the Democratic Party has become, right? So my vote is basically an anti-Democrat vote. I don't care who it was. I made this joke with Joe before. Hey, if on the Republican side of the ticket it said ham sandwich, I'm voting for that, right? Because I'm in my situation. I'm so anti-Democrat that it's gonna take a lot to reel me back in, right? And comments like this make it like way more likely that I'm not ever coming back into the fold. So, I mean, that's my final thought.
Okay, cool. Listen, he got me riled up with that tie. Ty be going on these. So my final thought is with the Obama move, I do believe Sakira, that's my daughter's name. G kept mentioning this idea of like it's a card that you can play, right? Now I get it. We got cards that we can play, but when you go out here and send Barack Obama playing these cards like Gambit, I think you're playing with fire. Boy came out there like Gambit, just tossing cards, and I'm like, bro, listen, you ain't going to attack me like that, bro. I don't think this was a smart move. I don't. I think that if you want to address a certain demographic of men who are in fact misogynist or sexist, then state that clearly. When you speak generally, you can't be surprised that some men are taking offense when like if you say men are trash. Oh, but I'm not talking about all men, right? But you didn't specify. You just said So when you speak generally about black men, if you don't speak specifically, you're gonna offend someone. You know what I mean? And I don't care if it's like if it don't apply, let it fly. No, don't talk bad about me. You know what I mean?
That's It
Like
was specific though. He listen, and that's I think that's the point. Right? They specifically called out a specific a certain demographic. Ty just said it. You motherfucker, you two wasn't y'all not changing your mind either way. So he wasn't talking to y'all. He was talking about them simps. Excuse my language on the fence. So it's like, man, I'm voting for Trump. That's the thing to do. But they really like, nah, they really don't. They not really about it. And he calling them out. And say what you want. It's a couple hundred men who are going to vote for Kamala now because they're like, yeah, you're right, man. That's kind of messed up. And that's right. They don't like
listen.
So it worked for what it worked for, bro. That might
So
the vote.
my final plug. I'm not gonna vote Trump. I'm gonna put my plug in. I'm voting. You can't call me sexist because I'm voting for a woman in the election. This election, I'm voting for Jill Stein and I'm voting for Butch Ware. I love them. Butch and Stein is my vote for Green Party. I think that the Democratic Party right now, all the polls are showing that Kamala is going to lose. It might be a repeat of 2016. So I'm gonna use their tactic, right? I'm gonna say a vote for the Democrats is a waste. So vote third party either way because listen, it's a waste. They're going to lose. So if you want to do something impactful, either I'm not going to push you to vote for Trump, but give a third party a try. Let's try to break the American duopoly. So I'm going to go for the Green Party, and that's my final thought on this.
All right. Well, listen, family. Let us know what y'all think. Like, comment, subscribe. This got heated. We went off on tangents. Let us know. Yeah. Until next time.
Until next time.
Thanks for having me.